Hello world, hi. Clicked the like button, please do. Remember to that as well, and you're very welcome to leave a comment as well. So I hope you enjoy this. What am I going to say? Chart of the month is here, the Aries New Moon chart. I'll probably post that later for you to look at, hopefully on the YouTube. I haven't quite worked that out yet, but I'll get to posting it. And here we go. I'll try and keep this as short and precise as possible. We've got to think about what's happening at the moment in the world. Of course, here in England, we've just received the news of the lockdown, which is the government was very slow to do, considering the news that was coming in from all the rest of the world. But it's interesting that they did a lockdown on the day of the new moon. So I've got to think about this idea of what Aries New Moon is. We've just had the spring equinox, and you should hopefully see my other video for more information on that. But now we've got the Aries New Moon, which is the sun and the moon meeting in Aries. And so this is a time of the year when we can get more time, sense of being courageous. You know, we've got to move forward with initiative-taking energy. Now, yeah, we're locked down. We're all at home, hopefully. And so it's like, what are you going to do with that burst of springtime energy? Maybe it's a very good thing to get into your garden if you've got a gardening space, or to think about how to express your energies in any ways that you can. So that's very Aries. It's about being enterprising, working within the bounds of what you have. Now, Sun and Moon in Aries means the ruler of Aries, Mars, is very strongly activated right now. So we look to Mars. Mars is currently exalted in Capricorn. So Mars is quite enjoying the boundaries being set. It's kind of stomping around its edges of the boundaries, if you like, and doing its own sort of way of patrolling things in a very practical way, very methodical way, reaching goals and targets, if you like. Mars is at 25 Capricorn today, so it'll be in Capricorn for another few days, for about another 9 days. And it's also still in the region of being with Saturn, and I'm going to get onto Saturn in a minute, by the way. But the Mars is, and these two are the two classic malefics. So there's a sense of being contained, being controlled. It's like it's almost has that quality of needing authority to be more bossy in a way. And that's exactly what the government was saying here in the UK yesterday. They're saying, well, we're going to have to make it more authoritarian. So there's a sense about having that to deal with or to cope with, to take more control of mind within 120 degrees of the chart. Everything in all the planets and everything. The nodes, fair enough, are slightly expand that a bit, but the idea that planets are really clustered together, and they're clustered in the areas of the collective signs of Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, and then the personal signs of Aries and Taurus. So what we're looking at here at the moment is this sense of self. I might be something like, I want to be part of what's going on. I want to be connected to everything, but I have to be also self-isolated, or I have to be separated from everything else. So it's like the journey that the collective is on, is we're finding that we are being brought to ourselves, to focus on ourselves. So there might be very interesting things coming up for a lot of people at the moment, things that they haven't considered for a long time. All sorts of stuff coming up in the mind about the past. It's a very good time actually to become very much more aware of the breath, the passing of time, mindfulness meditation, and just enjoying being with yourself is also a very good thing to do sometimes, particularly if you meditate. You know, I think the key to this is to learn to meditate. But of course, with planets in Aries right now, Sun and Moon in Aries, then it's more about seizing the moment. But but there's also a lot of receptivity in our personal lives at the moment, with Mercury in Pisces making things very illusory, slightly confused, not necessarily being very clear with communications, and Venus in Taurus, meaning that primarily life's all about having a good time and enjoying things in life. The reason Venus is in Taurus is, I think, is why the shop shelves are empty. You know, everyone's been buying up stuff. Everyone's been just thinking of themselves and wanting to get this and that and the other, and stashing up and stocking up. And it's a very materialistic consumer lesson we're having to learn at the moment. And I'll be saying more on that in a later video, actually, later in this week, because I see there's a good aspect coming up that's going to teach us about that. The government might respond with food rationing later in the week, actually. But we'll get to that. I'll talk about that, I think, in a later video. But for now, there's a lot about calmly working within one's capability of using your imagination, planning things out in a slightly illusory or dreamy way. You know, it's like saying, well, I could do this, I could do that. Nothing's really certain with Mercury and Pisces. But there is, as I said, this creative, vital, assertiveness going on at the moment. And it's best put to doing things around the house if that's the situation that we have to face with. Aries is very vigorous, always ready for a fight or a battle of some kind. You know, the energy of that. And I think the new moon in Aries with Chiron, which is the healer, the one that suffers in order to heal, then there's a lot about, well, sort of almost like a bit of a sense, and with the ruler of Aries, Mars, being in Capricorn at the moment, coming up to Saturn, it's almost like, what battle have we got ready for in our lives? What did the world get just a few months ago? For example, President Trump was talking about you know, a space force, you know, a whole thing to deal with outer space. We're going to put tons of resources into building a space force. I mean, what on earth is all that about? And you know, maybe this idea that the greater enemy, you know, we're all going to be invaded and blah blah blah, you know. And actually, what's happened is this, if you like, this invisible virus has taken us, you know, that you cannot see, you know, and to a certain extent, I think this new moon in Aries is about recognizing what it is we're up against, as it were, and then a larger, greater sort of scheme of that. I think in the long run, as we move, Saturn's now moved into Aquarius, of course, and that's what I've actually got to talk about, is Saturn in Aquarius. So so of course, there's a lot of really good keywords that are already in the news about that. The idea of social distancing is very Saturnian. Saturn being the limits and the boundaries and the distance and the far away thing. What's going to happen to humanity, right? How are we focusing on what we really need as a community collective? A community being the whole of the planet. What are we going to do with this over the next number of years? The result of this, and now Saturn's got into Aquarius. Things like this are going to be, questions like this are going to be brought up and talked about. You know, it's going to be one of the big. This new moon was at 4 degrees Aries. Saturn was at 0 Aquarius. So this new moon won't necessarily pick it up very much, this particular cycle, but it will make a square at the next new moon. There will be the sun and the moon in Taurus next month will be squaring Saturn, and that will be a big test. But so that, look out for that one. That's going to be really interesting. But I think what we've got here is this idea that Saturn in Aquarius is the future of humanity, and I think that's what we need to put into focus here. It's like, can we use technology in more beneficial ways? You know, can we be nice to each other? You know, this is a big question, and what we're going to be really faced with. You know, So I think I'll leave it at that for now, right? Because it trying to keeps the timing of these videos down a bit to keep it fairly condensed. I will record again later in the week because I'm going to talk to you about what's upcoming, which is the Venus trine Jupiter, Venus trine Pluto, and Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. And all that is in a few days' time. So it'll be peaking on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to do a great, I really look forward to doing a video for that, say around about Thursday or Friday. And in the meantime, stay strong, be enterprising. I think that's a really key word at the moment. Keep your vitality up. You know, it's going to be, this is a very interesting journey we're on at the moment. It's something new. It's something different. It's something that we're going to have to forge a new path with. And all that is Aries, if you think about it. It's like that kind of Aries kind of quality. And of course, please like this video and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. Much appreciated if you like my video. In the meantime, this is Julian Venables. I give readings, by the way, on my website, which is, you can see all below there on the description of this. You'll see all the info that you need. My website is londonastrologer.com. And I hope you found this interesting, informative, and please share it with your own community. And I hopefully will speak to you again in the not too distant future. Bye for now.